boys and girls. Welcome along. We are on the verge of the Pro Tour final of Kuala Lumpur here in Malaysia. Whatever time of day or night it is with you, we are so glad you are with us live to experience what could be an incredible, historic matchup. On the one side, you've got Mario Pascoli. I'm glad to say he's got a bunch of Italian supporters in the auditorium, because you've got to feel, Bill, there's going to be a lot of people supporting the other guy. And the other guy is Johnny Magic, John Finkel.
Absolutely. It's like we said in the Marcio Carvalho-John Finkel matchup. There's a lot of players who are just rooting for their hero who they've been with since they grew up, and now that's John Finkel. I have a feeling that Mario Pascoli could be the guy who beat John Finkel, regardless of whether he wins his Pro Tour or not, and that would be the title he'd be known with instead of just the guy who was Pro Tour champion in Kuala Lumpur. Still, you can't take anything away from the fact that this Italian has come a long way. He drafted a very solid deck. He's played some very tight games, had a matchup that was very heavily in his favor in the semifinals, won the first two games quite handily, lost the next two games, and instead of getting frustrated and letting it get to him and going on tilt and passing up the opportunity to play in the finals, he tightened it up for the final fifth game and managed to pull through. So as good as John Finkel is and as much as people are rooting for him, can't take anything away from his opponent, Mario Pascoli. Really a solid player so far this weekend.
Now, we did see that Pascoli, having gone 2-up in his semi-final against Ming Shi from China, when he came out to 2-all, it looked like he was really genuinely despondent, similar to Nico Herzog in his quarterfinal, but in his case with errors. Pascoli just unhappy with how things had panned out. And that moment where Pascoli took his glasses off, rubbed the face, time to get in the game, and then came out, and to be fair, I mean, the cards were there in abundance for him. Chandra repeatedly, so can't argue with that. But you still have to play the cards, and if you think you're going to lose, no, it doesn't really matter what the cards are, you find a way to lose. That's one of the big truths about Magic. There is always a way to lose. There isn't always a way to win, but there's always a way to lose. If you in your head want to lose, you can make sure that happens. And the number of times you see people throw away key matches because basically in their heads they've already lost, and the cards are just the way of keeping score.
Absolutely. It's a big difference between the pros and the people who haven't quite made it yet. And we saw yesterday on Friday with day one, Olivier Rouel started out 0-2, back against the wall. Any more losses and he's out. Shows up to his feature match for round 3. Opponent is a no-show. Let the pressure get to him and just decided not to make it. And so you've seen that with throughout the weekend, and with Pascoli here, went up 2 games, went down 2 games, didn't let it get to him, got that 5th game. The mentality is such a key element to this very intelligent, difficult, challenging game.
All right, so here is the matchup. John Finkel with blue-white, largely white, just a little bit of blue for some key spells like Distant Melody, Pestamite. We've seen both of those used extremely effectively. He is looking to rush people. He rushed Guillaume Wafatapa 3-0. Then he dropped a game in his semi-final, but now here he is in the final, up against a black-red deck with quite a lot of low-cost monsters. They're not necessarily the greatest monsters, and probably they're less good than Finkel's early drops, but they are early drops. And so the Kithkin deck is going to find it potentially quite difficult to get in that early damage. And then you add the fact that Pascoli has all that removal.
Yep, absolutely. I think this matchup is so tight and so close, it's difficult to predict a clear winner. If I had to flip a coin, I'd say John Finkel, but I'm not sure if that's because I want to see John Finkel win after the being inducted into the Hall of Fame, or because I truly believe it. Just such a close match.
All right, boys and girls, button up, fasten your seatbelts. It's time for the final of Pro Tour Kuala Lumpur. Here we go. Welcome to Kuala Lumpur. It is Pro Tour Malaysia 2008. It is the last duel of the weekend. 2 players remain. 352 have gone home. And Mario Pascoli of Italy, the reigning Italian champion, 2004 and 2007, faces John Finkel. There is Pascoli, and he has made a first-turn play. Could not go better for him. It's a Flamekin harbinger, because just like in the last round, Finkel's opponent will be looking to stabilize and get themselves into the game. So that is Pascoli on your screen right there, holding himself together, came through a difficult quarterfinal against Chinese Ming Shi. And facing him across the cardboard chasm, the red zone of doom, it's John Finkel. It is incredible to think that you are watching not one of our lunchtime entertainments in between the semi-finals and the final, but this is live, this is happening right now, and you are looking at one of the greatest contributors to Magic the game has ever seen. So we are underway in the best 3 out of 5 final. It seems a long time ago, Bill, that these 2 guys plus 6 more great players sat down to draft Lorwyn, Morningside, and they've come up with these 2 decks.
Yep, absolutely. And John did have to start this game with a mulligan, but it looks like his opponent has come out with a pretty good start for slowing him down. John missing a 2-drop there, that's pretty shocking. Things not looking good for him so far. The thing about Mario Pascoli's deck, as we've said over and over again, it's got so much removal, very, very solid on that, and its creature base is a little weak. In this matchup, that might not matter that much as long as he's got some bodies in the way. John, of course, led with his Mosquito Guard, and Mario Pascoli had Flamekin Harbinger for one of his big beaters, which is the 5/3 Berserker.
Yep, and Pascoli there, he's got Eye Blight's Ending, he's also got Makeshift Mannequin, he's got Changeling Berserker, he's got plenty of stuff going on in his hand, and we're not quite sure what Finkel's got at the moment. He looks, draws a card.
Interesting play there from Pascoli. Opted to use the 3 mana to take out the Mosquito Guard, decides, you know what, I'm on the beatdown, let's get this started.
Yep.
Go ahead.
John misses a 3-drop.
Here we are, Pestamite in the upkeep, fair enough.
Never doubt the pros. Never doubt the pros.
Certainly not this one.
No.
Alright, so Pascoli comes. And there we go. Pascoli's thinking, am I turning these people sideways? Yes, I am. I'm turning both Flamekin Harbinger and Sunfire Shaman into the red zone.
It's actually in his benefit to trade here, just because as long as John's not attacking, then Mario's ahead.
Yes.
Scott Johns, reporting from the floor, pointed out some interesting statistics. John Finkel has made something like 11 top 8s, has only lost in the finals once. That, of course, was at L.A. against his Antarctica teammate, Steve O'Mahony Schwartz, who won during the Urza Saga draft with an amazing mono-black deck featuring at least 1 copy of Pestilence, if memory serves. So the numbers do not favor Mario Pascoli here. Of course, he's on his way to setting some new numbers, perhaps, and setting a new a statistic for how often Mario Pascoli loses in the finals of the Pro Tour.
Yeah, because he's looking at kind of, well, never seems like the correct answer to him right now. And he has really made a good start. We've now got a Firebelly Changeling joining the Sunfire Shaman there.
Both of them showed up a little bit by the Kithkin Zephyr-Knot and the Harrier that John Finkel just played. That Zephyr-Knot is probably something that Pascoli is going to try to burn before it turns into that Sarah Angel. Firebelly Changeling I like from Pascoli in this matchup simply because for a 2-drop, on his 3rd turn he can play a second 2-drop like the Sunflare Shaman with a 3rd land and play that mountain, and that still lets him trade with a Kinsvale Skirmisher or an unenhanced Kithkin Greatheart, or many of the other creatures that John can play. So that's definitely an important card for him to have, particularly if he's got the mountains to support it in those early turns.
So Kithkin Zephyr-Knot and Goldmeadow Harrier on the Finkel side of the board for the USA. Across the Atlantic from Italy, Mario Pascoli, Sunfire Shaman, Firebelly Changeling. Top left, 4 mana from Pascoli.
There's a Changeling Berserker.
So that's the 5/3. And what does he choose to champion here?
It's an interesting option. You know, Firebelly Changeling is the more aggressive creature compared to the Sunflare Shaman, just in regards to attack stats. But the Sunflare Shaman provides for some really interesting situations in which it's a removal spell. It deals, it could potentially 2-for-1, and it looks like he's going to go ahead and remove the Firebelly Changeling, keeping the Sunflare Shaman potentially as a removal spell for the Harrier or